Welcome back, listeners, to another beautiful episode on the BizBlend podcast, where we don't just talk business, we talk about becoming. Now, listeners, what happens when a high flying leader with a passport full of boardroom stamps suddenly realizes their success feels hollow? Well, our guest today, listeners, he has led global teams in 80 plus countries, consulting CXOs and shaping enterprise strategy. But when the world paused in 2020, so did he. What followed was a radical shift from hustle to wholeness. And he is now the force behind Soul Code Leadership and the MQ model, which is helping leaders rediscover their joy, realign their energy, and return to what truly matters. And listeners, this is a conversation for the builders, the burnt out, and the brave, those who are ready to trade external applause for internal alignment. So, let's step into the chamber, not of echo, but of giggles, grace, and grounded growth with Amitabh Singh Jolly. So, Amitabh, welcome to the show, and I'm really excited for you to have here.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Sana, and thank you for such a beautiful description. And it actually made me smile. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Amitabh, for your kind words. And let's begin to first understand your world before the transformation, before the realization. Um, you have a global experience in here, worked across 80
Mhm.
plus countries, advising
Yeah.
powerful leaders. But in hindsight, what was the cost of that pace and persona?
The cost was huge, and like they say that when you continue to live with the pain, you become numb to it. It becomes part of you, and you kind of become oblivious
Mm-hmm.
that there is something wrong. You kind of accept it as part of your life, right? So, and it when it continues for a long time, you keep getting those nudges, those pushes, those signs, what we call it, that you
Mm-hmm.
do something about it, but you don't listen because they're just nudges, and you continue your life, which you think is rest of the world is following psycho-stimulated success path. So this was happening for almost, I would say, I will even go back to my school time, not the work time, because my programming started when I was in school, and I have this inquisitiveness. I have this desire to experience a thing before I accept it, to
Mm-hmm.
experience something without knowing it. I mean, it's not me. It's like I have to experience. I have to understand what it is all about. I will not just take on the just as a note, just as a guideline or a as a direction. So the programming started pretty much then, from my school days. I would say my secondary school days, and it went on for a long period of time, like you mentioned, till 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the period when actually the voice starts becoming getting louder, right? Um, in your head, and then you have this training as a fakester, as a person who can manipulate, because you have been programmed, and by the time you're 30 you are kind of comfortable with that programming, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you learn how to ignore it. But I guess I was fortunate enough around 2020 when things change around the world, and further on 2022 when my personal life shattered.
Mm-hmm.
So things changed then. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can so much connect with especially you mentioned about the times when you were in school. I mean, it's kind of programmed into you, and it's a kind of rut culture. Everything is reflective, that in your grades and in your marks.
Yeah.
And
Exactly. Yeah.
your achievements, your smartness, they're all measured in numbers, and that kind of keeps on. It continues in your adulthood as well,
Yeah.
with titles and paychecks and the all the tangible um, you know
Mhm.
materialistic gains that you have.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
rightly you said that it's a pain that we don't realize, or we rather don't want ourselves to realize, because there's a fear, especially in high achievers or overachievers. It's a kind of a pain or anxiety that if I realize this pain and I stop or pause, it's going to take everything away from me, what I've strived hard so much for.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a psychological factor attached here. So, and then 2020, I mean, I've had conversations with so many people, either during pandemic or post pandemic.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, fortunately, it has triggered so many huge changes for all of us.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
mhm.
For sure. For
No,
sure.
go ahead, go ahead.
So, Sana, the thing is, when you talk about 2020, it is in itself having almost innumerable case studies about and how life has changed for not just people, but for societies, for nations,
Yeah.
businesses as well. And the effect will be there for a long period of time, the ripple effect on it. But I also believe there is something else happening. There is a shift which is happening. Quite a huge disruption is happening all around. Um, in my lifetime, I have seen much more peaceful, much more honest, ethical times than it is now. And the way things are happening around, to be honest, sometimes it's not difficult for my mind. I cannot speak for all the human minds, but in my mind, it's difficult to process it. And I'm pretty sure for most of the human minds, it will be, although I can't validate it. But in terms of relationships of people, one-to-one relationships, what's happening in businesses, what's happening around nations. And in
Mm-hmm.
spite of having everything on your fingertip, all the information, all the wisdom, I would say, all the knowledge, for you don't have to now go to a library, you can get it on your phone.
Yeah.
Still, people are more broken, more brittle, more restless, more vulnerable than ever before. I can't even call it. There's a pressure of 8.1 billion people on the planet. There is something else happening, and I called it. I don't know what should I call it, but it is definitely to do with the. If I were to say on a psychological and mental level, lack of acceptance of what someone is, and a desire to be something else, and to gain that, everything is all the multi-billion dollar industries, which are so-called wellness and healthcare industries or fitness industries, are all focused towards that. For example, when I was a kid, I never heard the term calories. I never
Yeah.
had, never had water purifiers at my home or
No,
those
no.
things. Yeah. So it was like we used to have wonderful tap water, and I don't remember falling sick at all. We never had medicines at home. Food was simple. It was not like
Yeah.
those super foods and all.
Yeah.
And but we were more healthy, more I would say. I mean, most of the good memories in that sense of word are from that period where the luxuries were, yeah, rather I would say the so-called luxuries were not at all present. And then in my case, personal uh, disruption happened, and like I mentioned to you,
Mm-hmm.
initially you will get a nudge, hundred of nudges, then pushes, maybe few of them, then sometimes you will get a slap also. I call it from universe, call it from whoever cares for you, right? Or angel
Yeah.
maybe, or I don't know what should I call. But let's, for the sake of it, call it a universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
It gives you that kind of signals to do something about. I call it a moment of truth. I had this third major uprooting of my life altogether,
Mm-hmm.
and which I now look back. I'm still trying to give it some meaning, but I have come to a realization that this is happening for something extremely special, extremely unique, and something which I believe I have been born with, because I certainly believe we all are like having some kind of secret or sacred codes we are born with, and everyone is unique. Everyone has a part to play in this entire scheme of things. Just that when we try to clone and follow others, or trying to live up to an image of other people, then there's a problem. So my moment happened in 2022 when I have to become a single father to a 2-month-old child,
Mm,
right? So life changed on its head totally. I mean, everything which was planned went for a toss.
mm,
So a guy who loves traveling, who loves reading books, who likes his freedom, suddenly has to prioritize everything else than himself, or whatever you call it. So I had to rush back to my hometown, my parents, and figure out a way how we can support each other to bring up a 2-month-old child. And that journey not just changed my perspective on a lot of fronts, and it's continuing to unravel itself, but it also gave me a lot of time to reflect about what I should be doing when I am going through my emotions in the day, what should be done, which gives me more satisfaction, more depth, and more understanding of the life as such, rather than just simply having that kind of life, which is I call a psychostimulated cloning exercise, where you go to the office, you earn a certain amount of money, you get married, and you go through those itches, what you call 3 year, 7 year itches, and then you again get programmed by each other to live with each other, not really knowing what is love sometimes. And then you have kids, you have jobs, and then you become old, then you die, right? So,
yeah.
most of the stories are like that. And death is a great equalizer. It's a great equalizer, the greatest truth, like they say. And it brings you, when you think about it, it makes you understand. So I would like to quote a very recent example. Someone very
Mm,
close to me expired day before yesterday. I went to his funeral, and that for me was a very overwhelming moment, not in terms of sadness purely, but also in terms of realization that I was almost blank, and I'm still kind of reflecting about it, that everything goes up in flame. It's so
mhm,
fragile, it's so unpredictable. Within seconds, everything is over, and when someone dies, they don't even want to keep the body for more than half of the day, and
mm,
everyone rushes to take it away, and everything is over in span of few hours. Everything. So I don't know what we are living for, what we are doing about, and where we are heading for. Are we drugged? Are we doped? Or why it is so difficult to understand the greatest truth of life? And while it's good to be positive, but that positivity also needs to be rooted to your own truth.
exactly.
And it cannot be positivity where you are laughing in the mirror and smiling at yourself and calling it that I'm feeling positive. It's about what actually, if we consider that soul has a journey for let's say, for the sake of it, what are
Mhm,
you carrying with? Nothing apart from your own karma, or I would say your own deeds, your own, the kind of people you number of people you made to smile, the people I mean, for the people whom you stood by, they will remember you, right?
yeah.
And how you actually brought a difference to some people's life. And it will definitely not remember your houses, your bank balance, your Armani shirts, or your whatever. So it will certainly not remember, because those clothes, those things also will be given away to someone. All right. So I have come to this major reflection since day before yesterday, and um, this is the journey I'm on. And I believe when you are on a particular journey, and
Mhm,
when that journey is very extremely connected to your own unique sacred code, what I call we call it in a simple language, your unique presence, your unique self. Um,
mhm,
you start getting people, you start getting signs towards which will encourage you to keep moving on, keep moving on. Keep, for example, something which comes to my mind is the movie Lord of Rings, right?
Yeah.
So these guys, these two, I forgot the name of these two characters, but two friends, Frodo and what was his the other guy's name? I don't remember. So they kept on moving, right, for the ring. I mean, they were like young, frail, but they kept on moving, believing in themselves, facing so many insurmountable challenges,
Yeah.
right? So that is what starts happening. And then there are energies, we call them angels, call them farishte, call them whatever. They start supporting you on that journey. And you know it inside yourself that you're on the right journey. So that's what I'm experiencing these days, Sana, and it is growing louder. I'm becoming, to be honest, more unsocial than ever before. And I was more social because I'm a good actor. I can fake, I can lie easily, I can create stories out of nowhere. So I was so many stories I have created in my life, and the worst part was I started forgetting what I'm actually. I was getting lost in those stories and finding meaning for myself in those stories, but there was no meaning there. They were all fictional stories, right? Um, so, and they were done with I guess, only two objectives, either to gain money or to gain recognition and, I would say love from people
Mhm.
whom you want to be loved from. So these things were happening. Now I'm in a totally, in that sense of word, unsocial mode. Hardly any so-called friends, a lot of solitude, a lot of time to reflect, a lot of
Mhm.
time to stabilize myself, and a lot of time to get into the groove. Let's see where it takes me.
That is true. That is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
And I mean, lot of things to extract from here to
Mm,
put upon. First of all, yes, these are some strangest times I am seeing.
mm.
Um, some really polarizing stuff going on, and if I look back, right now everything is nostalgic for me, whether it's songs or movies or pop culture or any books or anything that I read or I see, I hear. It's all nostalgic. Sometimes, I mean, sometimes now I understand why my parents used to say, हिंदी में बोलते हैं कि हमारे जमाने में ये था अभी
Yeah,
तो
correct.
है."
People say what? Mm.
हाँ, so somewhere down the line now I understand why they say like that. So it's like even if times are changing, you know, this is the only way I console myself, that ठीक है, even if the uh, even if the days are not the same before they used to be, people are not like they used to be during my time, or when maybe pre-COVID. Let's just extract the good things and try to embrace this. Um,
Yeah.
if we try
Yeah.
to keep hanging on to the old times, then we are not going to let ourselves be welcoming to changes.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
change is inevitable. Change is inevitable, and that's why I absolutely agree with you that it's we should dedicate more and more time for self introspection, self reflection. Positivity is fine, but blindly being positive and ignoring the hard facts, running away from the problems will not give us the solutions. So,
Exactly. Exactly, Sana. The thing is how we look at things is most important, because even that positivity is toxic, because that is more a version of positivity which is drilled down your head by some people and some apps or some whatever, right? Some kind
yeah,
of media which people have watched, or looked at it. Smile in the mirror, get up in the morning, feel great about yourself, love yourself, and all that. First of all, you need to know yourself. You need to know what you're all about. Then only you can fall in love with a real person. Otherwise, you're trying to fall in love with someone else version of you, right?
exactly.
Yeah. So, and introspection also is more to do with the, first of all, accepting the hard fact of life, that it's a very, very short life. It's running, like it's fleeting, like they say, right? Like a cloud. And you're trying to hold on to a cloud, you cannot.
Yeah.
So you to understand that as quickly as you can, get reminded of it as much as you can, and keep moving in that direction. The only word which comes to my mind is be raw, be unauthentic, be authentic, sorry. uh, uh, when I say authentic, it means that you may not be coming out nice, you may not be coming out as social, but you are at least, you are connected to yourself, as at least you're connected to what you are made for. Your
Mm.
your something which, even if you are talking without any script, even if you're talking while you're sleeping, you're still talking the same thing, right?
Yes.
And it reflects in each aspect of your life, as simple as what kind of food you eat, what kind of clothes you wear, and how you carry yourself. If you are
Mhm.
in sync with that particular code of yours, like you mentioned, the sacred code of leadership, that is what I'm talking about. If you are
Mm.
connected to that sacred aspect of yours, then you, even if you speak in front of 70,000 people in a stadium, your conviction will be such a powerful energy that it will be vibing across the entire 70,000 people. If there is a conviction inside you, you don't,
Yes.
because that is something where you don't need to think, you just need to keep flowing, trusting yourself. So that is what
Correct.
I'm talking about, introspection. And the most important aspect, Sana, that it is an ongoing journey. It's not like something you have gained enlightenment over a mountaintop and next day everything is going to be nice. That kind of enlightenment is a BS story, to be honest. And that kind of romantic stories I have heard 1,000 times on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook, and so many people. I don't even want to name them, right? Because life for me is a river, right? A river rages sometimes, a river sometimes goes through crests and troughs, sometimes it hits against the rocks, sometimes it becomes stable and still. So this is the way life is. It's like a ECG, right? Crests and troughs, ebb and flow. It's not like a straight line. Straight line is death.
Yeah.
So I don't know what enlightenment people are talking about, because everything around you is variable. Everything around you is variable. How you are able to figure out and maintain your originality, your authenticity in that particular situation without really compromising, and still come out unscathed. That is the, I would say, secret sauce to something what I call liberation from the
Mm.
shackles, liberation from the all the chains which we have programmed ourselves into.
True. That is true. I mean,
Yeah.
a very glaring example could be that, um, yes, you should be self-aware. You should not be running behind materialistic gains. But then at the same time, you should also be aware about the responsibilities that you have.
Oh
You
yes.
know, as a daughter, as a father, or
Yes. Yes.
as a son. There, as we talk about death as well. I mean, there right now there is no certainty here. So
Mm.
even if it get looks like scary to talk about or even think about, but then at the same time you should be aware about that. Okay, I'm earning enough, or at least I'm saving enough, so that my loved ones, they are secure, they are safe. They have, for example, there was one conversation where I was speaking with a woman. So she deals with disaster management, disaster
Mm.
preparedness.
Mm.
And she gave a very beautiful tip that, let's say, especially your parents or your loved ones who are
Yeah.
not much tech savvy, especially in
Yeah.
situations like this, when, let's say, we have no technology working. I
Mm.
mean, for example, if there's a solar storm, just imagine your phone's electricity, nothing is going to work around. The whole earth will be
Yes.
completely like
Yes.
black out. So
Yes.
in that case, you should have at least, that primitive sense. to remember the phone numbers or at least, the directions. Sometimes I
Mhm.
even think, do I know how to read a physical map, or I'm completely dependent on GPS? And that kind of makes me really anxious.
Yes, 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 definitely. Because life is making us, the way technology is happening around us, it's making us redundant. And I I don't even want to kind of defame or put the blame on AI, because this is happening since almost in my memory is happening for more than 20 years, with the advent of internet, with the advent of Google, then
True.
so on and so forth, GPS and all that. Because we are now, initially business was happening, life was happening also when there were no phones, right?
Mm,
People used to travel, and I remember driving in my car when there was no GPS, and I used to find the address pretty easily, because it was a conscious driving. It was not like a driving where I'm totally depending on something as a technology. Kind of uh, I was kind of thinking, where should I take the next turn? I was asking people on the road, where should we go? So it was a mixture of real time presence, real time conscious efforts to
mm,
find a particular road or address. So since you mentioned GPS, and
mm,
now with the AI and all that, I'm reading a lot of articles from top management institutes around the world, like Harvard and MIT and all that. They're talking about how it is making your mind, your brain dumber,
exactly.
dumb
Yeah,
and dumber.
that is that's true.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
mean, even those simple WhatsApp texts or LinkedIn messages are all written by AI. I mean,
oh yes, this is crazy. This is crazy, and see, the way I look at this thing, Sana, is about accepting and integrating without compromising on what you are good at. For me,
mm,
uh, Google was never the be all end all go to man when I wanted some information. It was a co-creator. It was
mm,
a person who used to, rather, I would say, not co-creator, co-informer, who used to help me in what I was doing. And same goes for AI. AI for me is co-creator. It's not like something I'm totally depending, and I'm very conscious of that.
exactly.
I've been part of the technology business, so I know what is possible and
Mm,
what is not. I'm still holding back, because I really, for example, I love writing, I love creating stories and all that. So I'm not
mm,
going to this GPTs and all at all, and to get this done for me, because then all the fun of my life will be lost. What should I be doing? I should rather, you know, um, rather, I would say there's nothing left then in my life in case I'm not able to do something which I love doing, like writing a book or writing
yeah.
a story or talking, having a conversation. Now you have those AI enabled boyfriends and girlfriends also,
Uh,
right? So you don't need a partner. so, so that AI partner is obviously talking everything the way you want. जैसे कहते हैं ना इंडिया में भाषा, आज्ञाकारी बहू और रिस्पॉन्सिबल हस्बैंड, whatever, right? So this is happening, and obviously more things are happening around the world with this AI enabled robots, which can be your girlfriend or a boyfriend, right? So you know where we're heading for. It's like we are not required anymore on this planet.
no.
So I read a very beautiful article, and I remember the tagline that everything which is tangible, which can be
Mhm.
done with AI now, which is measurable, for example, but everything which is intangible, that is the feelings, empathy, kindness, love, compassion,
Mm,
those unseen feelings, like standing up for someone without getting seen, or waking up late in the night for someone and being a 4 a.m. friend, right? This qualities are now going to be becoming more important than ever before. And
right.
for me, I don't have a better word than, I call it, advent of Satyuga again, in that sense of word, where um, um, now people are going to be hired. Let's say if I talk about the business environment, for not their CVs or not what they have done, but what they
Mm,
are as an individual, what kind of
mm,
qualities they carry as an individual, what kind of resilience they have got. Are they a fighter or a troubleshooter or not? Because,
mm,
like I said, All these things which normally you hire people for are going to be done, or rather already done, by AI. So it becomes even more important now, before you get lost and blown away by this digital storms or this revolutionary times or this disruptive times, is to hold on to your unique self, your sacred code, and just make it sure that whenever you talk, write, or work, it is a reflection of what you're all about. If you notice LinkedIn profiles these days, if you notice Instagram profile these days, they are more about people as a brand, not something else, and not about how many years of experience they have got in, let's say, a particular skill set in business.
Mm, right, that is right.
Yeah.
And talking about I'm just curious, like, is this I'm just guessing, as you mentioned, Lord of the Rings. If this the Chamber of Giggles and Grace, is this some kind of connection with the Chamber of Secrets of Harry Potter stuff?
Oh yeah, certainly a chamber. It's a chamber of where you can become 5-year old again,
Ah.
where you won't be required to show up in a particular way or with a particular dress or a particular outfit or a particular way of talking. Just let yourself loose, because I believe, in my experience, you stop growing after 5 years. Only start becoming programming after you are 5 till 5 year. That's the reason in India we call children as God, because till almost 5 years they are as pure as they can get. There is no sufficient memory, there is no data as such which they need to hang on, there is no programming done to them. They live in the moment, they live so consciously, they are more spiritual than most of those 70-year-old or 50-year or 30-year-old, right? So, and everyone remembers when they were a 5-year-old kid, right?
Mm.
I remember, I'm sure you also remember it. And what was fun for us, like rolling over in the mud, climbing a tree, or whatever that matter. So that chamber of giggles and grace will be just uprooting the BS stuff in your life which you have acquired or getting or got programmed with when you grew up, throwing it in a dustbin, putting it to fire, and
Mm.
coming out blazing like a, you know, these days we call it inner child, but it's nothing like inner child or outer child. The child is a child. Your body is growing, your soul is the same.
Mm.
If I see my father, he likes the same things which he used to like 30 years back, and I'm pretty sure he used to like the same things even further 30 years back. He's in his 70s now. So it's just the body which is growing, and our programming around the world by the society, by the people, and all that. So that is the chamber of giggles and grace, where if you walk into that chamber with me, you'll be coming out for sure. People will say that you are drunk. So, because you will be letting go all those shackles and all those things, all those zip lines which you put across in your mind, in your life, and you will be just flying. You will be just be as light as you ever was. Um, so that is the chambers of giggle and grace.
Mm. That's really interesting. Really
Yeah.
interesting, Anna.
Yeah.
And also asking about the M3 or the M cube model. I mean, mind and meaning, yes, they make sense. Talking about muscle, I mean, is this something related to the mental strength or the emotional strength? I mean, how do all
Yeah.
these three?
Things, yeah. See, emotions are energy, right? And so are thoughts. And any kind of energy needs a certain kind of muscle to manage, right? Call it
Mm.
a mental muscle or emotional muscle or a imaginary muscle. May not be um blood and what do you call it, flesh, but a muscle, like we also call it a muscle memory, right? Sometimes, right? So this is something to do with that. um I will give you example. Around 2 years back, I went to a retreat, and the objective of going to retreat was to make some new friends, because obviously life has gone through a massive disruption. And I was looking to just get away for some time. But what I managed to find there was they asked me to write a story of my life. And initially, what I started to write was something which people will appreciate and feel that, wow, he's a hero, right? And but then I realized what I'm doing, man. This is, I need to write something which belongs to me. And next day, I kind of showed it to my roommate, and um, he said, "Are you sure, Jolly, you want to present it? This is gonna be really, really controversial." I said, "Yes, I'm sure." He said, "You will lose a lot of people who respect you here and are friends with you." I said, "I don't care." So when I spoke, it was like a look of shock on the face of not just the organizer, but the other people. And they were getting uncomfortable what I was talking. I was not talking about nonsense, but I was talking about such brutal, honest reality of my life that people were taken aback. Because these things, they don't talk in front of anyone else, like they say. So but I felt so light, so much like the bird who was flying next to me in a mountain. That emotional memory, that kind of got activated. That mental memory kind of got activated, and I realized that this is what I need to do, and I need to show up every time, every moment for what I am all about. I don't care whether I have people in my life or not, because I'll be so much complete within myself. I will anyways don't need anyone in that sense of word. And if someone comes across me during that particular process who appreciates what I'm all about, then it's gonna be a great relationship.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's true. That is true. And uh, I mean, we all, and it's kind of human nature. It's kind of intrinsic nature that we all want to show our good side. But if a person, whether it's they are our loved ones or anyone, if they're accepting our flaws, they're embracing our flaws, they have seen the worst time of us, and they still stick with us. I think that's
Mm.
a litmus test in there. And same goes for ourselves as well.
Mm. Yeah, of course. Of course. Uh, Regarding that particular aspect, Sana, when you talk about loved ones, your only and only litmus test to know who are your loved ones is your rough times. And without doubt, that's the biggest filter. In a way, that is the greatest blessing.
Mm.
You will get rid of all the fluff and crap in your life in terms of people, right? Because it's a fact. It's a fact, and it is a hard fact that वो कहते हैं ना, एक कहावत है कि चढ़ते सूरज को सब सलाम करते हैं। जो डूबते सूरज को सलाम करे फिर वही दोस्त है ना? तो वो बात है। तो बहुत क्लियर हो गया सिचुएशन सना कि hardly anyone was left apart from my parents or my sister or a couple of people who were calling me without caring whether I was calling them back or not.
Exactly.
Rest everyone vanished.
And that is kind of a huge realization, and it comes when we when we either grow up, because normally in teenage जब हम college में होते हैं schools में होते हैं, then uh, it's we I mean biologically we are not that developed, especially from brain perspective. And secondly, um उसी time पे सबसे ज़्यादा we have our biggest circle of friends. uh,
Hmm.
तब we kind of rebel कि नहीं, they only understand, हमारे friends ही में understand करते हैं, आप लोग नहीं समझोगे, especially to our parents. It's kind of that age, and that is natural. That is natural. But uh, one question I would like to ask you, Amitabh, so regarding the generations, like our parents mostly so we kind of come from the millennial generation, and
Correct.
what I believe is our generation is the one which has seen life before computers, internet, or
Yeah.
any kind of technology. And we are also seeing the advancement, the super advancement of technology.
Yeah.
So that generation, uh, who is enjoying and cherishing also, but then at the
Hmm.
same time, we are also, at least some of us, I'm not sure of everyone, but at
Hmm.
least us, at least the people whom I know,
Hmm.
we kind of we have that, we don't have that instant gratification. We know ki आज जो 10 मिनट में खाना या ग्रोसरीज आ रही हैं, तो these were not possible 20 years back, 15 years back, not
ओ
even.
यस, ओ यस, ओ यस।
आज जो हमें instantly we can scroll down, we can get music, videos, movies, content,
हम्म,
researching at fingertips. These were
हम्म,
not possible few years
हम्म,
back.
हम्म,
We had to literally get ready, go down, buy
हम्म,
stuff.
हम्म,
uh, we had to go to banks to withdraw money. उस समय डीडी करते थे, post
हम्म,
office, all these stuff.
हम्म, हम्म,
So I think from that point, at least our generation, it's gifted from the
हम्म,
point that we understand कि अभी तो ठीक है, ये सब सब instantly मिल रहा है, but देखा जाए तो ये सब possible नहीं था.
बिल्कुल। तो
And
आपका सवाल मैं एक बार जानना चाहूंगा इसके बारे में। आप मेरा कुछ ओपिनियन जानना चाहती हैं कि ये।
yes, yes, I want to know your opinion that um I mean, as parents towards our future generation,
हम्म,
uh, should we completely embrace the change, or should we still make sure our future generations, they're aware about कि whatever you are getting instantly, it's a privilege. It is not something to uh, you know uh, boast about or be joyous, and completely be ignorant of the fact that life is hard, and you have to figure out at some point or the other time yourself कि ये सब किसी के available नहीं है. Because right now what I'm seeing is even our generation is also somewhere down the line a bit lost, especially जो अभी parents हो रहे हैं. I mean, they are also embracing the change, and somewhere I think कि वो फिर children बच्चों में भी जाता है, in the
हम्म,
young generations, in the future generations as well.
हम्म,
And now I'm seeing a lot of opinions shared जहाँ पे uh, people in our generation, they don't want to even bring the future generation into the picture. They don't even want to talk about it because they feel
हम्म,
right now the entire humanity is at the cusp of a silent destruction happening, uh,
हम्म,
internally and externally, and they don't want to deliberately put the younger generations or future generations into this horrible scenario
हम्म।
जहाँ पे we won't be having food or air, pure food, water, air.
हाँ, सही में, बिकॉज तुमने जैसे सही कहा कि हमारे टाइम में जब मैं छोटा था तो वाटर प्यूरिफायर्स भी नहीं होते थे, और कैलोरीज का तो नाम ही नहीं सुना था। भूख लगी, खाना खा लिया, फिट रहे, टाइम पे सो गए, टाइम पे उठ गए। वो रात को 1-2 बजे जागने वाला सिस्टम होता ही नहीं था।
Hmm.
एंड कई बार तो ऐसे होता था कि एक सिंगल टेबल फैन लगाया, छत पे सारे सोए पड़े। ठीक है, तो लाइन में सारे सोए पड़े। एंड आई डोंट हैव एनी बैड मेमोरी ऑफ दैट। Right
Yeah.
now, I have all the space by myself, all the house by myself. Still, sometimes I get jittery and I become so possessive of my space sometimes. So, मुझे लगता है ये क्या बेवकूफ़ी है यार, मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ यार, ये मैं कौन सा स्पेस। सो जहाँ तक आपने चिल्ड्रन की बात करी, बच्चों की बात करी, मुझे लगता है कि इट्स गोना बी अ लॉट ऑफ हार्ड वर्क एज अ पेरेंट टू ब्रिंग अप किड्स दिस डेज। बिकॉज पहले के ज़माने में हमारी नानियाँ दादियाँ, जो मैंने स्टोरी सुनी है, उनकी नानी दादियों के बारे में बताती थी कि वो लोग, जैसे मेरी नानी, शी यूज्ड टू टेल मी दैट उनकी मदर उनको, जब वो काम कर रही होती थी तो उनको
Hmm.
अफीम दे दिया करती थी सोने के लिए, ताकि वो परेशान ना करे। तो बच्चा जो शरारतें करता है, आजकल वो अफीम फोन बन गया है ना। तो 6 महीने के बच्चे ये फोन यूज करना जानते हैं। मैं, और यू नो हाउ इट इज affecting in a wrong way to the kids, so you have to put in your efforts, you have to put in your hours to spend time with them। ठीक है, आपकी कोई मजबूरी है तो आप, जैसे मेरी मजबूरी में है, मैं इसलिए मुझे आई हैव टू हैव अ नैनी, बट आई स्टिल प्रायोरिटाइज माय सन एवरी टाइम व्हेनेवर आई एम
Hmm.
डूइंग थिंग्स। बिकॉज मुझे पता है अभी जो इसके 4-5 साल हैं ये इतने इंपॉर्टेंट है
Hmm.
उसकी उसकी प्रोग्रामिंग के लिए, उसकी रादर आई वुड से उसकी अपब्रिंगिंग के लिए, जिसमें वो सब बन पाएगा जो मैं चाहता हूँ। बिल्कुल फ्री माइंडेड इंडिविजुअल, जो बहुत रिलैक्स्ड हो, जो अपने को प्यार करता हो, जो अपने आप अपने लिए खड़ा होता हो, जो इसको कोई डिपेंडेंसी ना हो कि मुझे फोन चाहिए, जो मुझे ये चाहिए, मुझे वो चाहिए, जो बहुत फाइटर हो एक तरह का, राइट?
हम्म।
सो
हम्म।
उसके लिए टाइम लगाना पड़ेगा आपको। यू हैव टू स्पेंड टाइम विद योर किड्स, यू हैव टू स्पेंड टाइम सो दैट दे कीप देम अवे फ्रॉम फोन एज मच एज पॉसिबल। जैसे शाम को जब मैं जिम से आता हूँ, मेरे साथ होता है, तो आई स्पेंड दोस 2 आवर्स विद हिम, जिसमें आई बिकम लाइक हिम। बच्चों के साथ बच्चा बनना पड़ता है ना। तो बेड पे रोल करना, फर्श पे नीचे, पलंग पलंग के नीचे छुप जाना, पिलो फाइट करना, चीजें उठा उठा के इधर उधर फेंकना, और दीवारों पे कलर करना, कुछ भी करना। या वो मेरे को बिठा देता है मिरर के सामने, मेरे चेहरे पे वो पेंट करना शुरू कर देता है। ठीक है। तो वो सब जॉय है, वही तो खुशियां हैं सारी, और वही तो सब उनको वो मोमेंट्स देने हैं, बिल्कुल देने हैं। एंड बिकॉज जैसा आजकल टाइम चल रहा है, उसमें ज्यादातर ये होता है ना कि मेड होनी चाहिए, चाहे माँ बाप दोनों इकट्ठे क्यों ना हो, राइट? और नैनी होनी चाहिए, ये होना चाहिए, वो होना चाहिए। सो या फिर बच्चे पैदा मत करो यार। करो तो यार, इट्स अ प्रोजेक्ट यार, एंड इट इज द मोस्ट सेल्फलेस प्रोजेक्ट।
एग्जैक्टली।
इसमें आप ये उम्मीद करो 20 साल आप इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रहे हो, बच्चा आपको रिटर्न दे, भाई तो रहने दो। तो उसको आप एक लाइफ को, जिंदगी में एक जिंदगी को लाइफ लेके आ रहे हो दुनिया में, उस इससे बड़ा कोई ब्लेसिंग नहीं है, पहली बात। अगर जो ब्लेसिंग है तो उसको कैसे उसको ऑनर करना है और कैसे उसको शेप अप करना है, वो आपका टास्क है। और ये कई बार इनहेरेंट होता है, जैसे आई नेवर थॉट आई वुड बी बिकम आई वुड से ग्रेट फादर और व्हाटएवर, आई डोंट नो, बट मैं अब कंफर्टेबल हूँ बीइंग अ फादर। मुझे पता है उसको क्या चाहिए, कुछ नेचुरली बायोलॉजिकली बातें आ जाती हैं, कुछ आपका इमोशंस आपको लाके खड़ी कर देती है आपके सामने, राइट? उन चीज़ों के सामने आपको रेडी कर देती है हर चीज़ करने के लिए, उसके लिए। तो मेरी कोशिश ये रहती है कि मैं, जैसे आजकल टाइम चल रहे हैं, जैसे वी आर बोथ आर अलोन इन दैट सेंस ऑफ वर्ड, वी यू एंड ही एंड मी आर देयर राइट नाउ। सो मैं चाहता हूँ कि वो और मैं दोस्त बन के रहें। मैं उसके साथ वो नहीं बनना चाहता हूँ जो शायद मेरे फादर मेरे से बने थे, बिकॉज वो मेरे फादर ही थे, एंड आई रिस्पेक्ट हिम, आई लव हिम टू बिट्स। मैं इसके साथ दोस्त बनना चाहता हूँ, मैं इसको बड़ी बोलता हूँ, ब्रो बोलता हूँ, राइट? और मैं इसके साथ बात भी वैसे ही करता हूँ। मैं इसके साथ बात नहीं करता जैसे छोटे बच्चों के साथ करते हैं ना, तोते तोतले में, वैसे नहीं करता। मैं इसके साथ प्रॉपर बात करता हूँ कि बेटा ऐसा है, वैसा है, ऐसा है, वैसा है, ऐसा चल रहा है, आज मेरा दिन ऐसा था, आज ये था, वो था। वो भी मुझे यही बोलता है, बेटा चिंता ना करो। तो आ, बेटा चिंता ना, बेटा पापा चिंता ना करो, आप सो जाओ मेरी गोदी में सर रख के, मैं हूं ना, ऐसे करके बोल देता है। ही इज नॉट इवन 3। So I'm developing that bond with him, and I know he will remember it throughout his life. जब वो थोड़ा बड़ा हो, फिर पता चलेगा उसके पापा ने उसको बिल्कुल एक फ्री फ्री प्लेनेट पे फ्री बर्ड की तरह बनाया था, वैसा छोड़ दिया था कि तू फाइटर है भाई, फाइट, तेरी जिंदगी तेरी है, पर एज अ फाइटर तेरे को मैंने ट्रेन कर दिया, राइट?
राइट।
He will not be looking for those escape zones. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, oh, exactly. I mean, even if things are bad, but at least from our end, let's make them good so that we make this city or town or country or planet livable.
पता क्या है सना, बैड कुछ भी नहीं है। सबसे बैड तो ये है कि अगर हम जिंदगी अपनी खुल के ना जी पाए, बिकॉज देखो मौत तो निश्चित है। मैं, लेट
Mm.
मी बी वेरी ब्लंट एंड लेट पीपल हियर दैट, एंड इवन इफ इट गेट्स अनकंफर्टेबल फॉर देम, यार क्या यार डेथ के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, पर करनी चाहिए, कितनी जरूरी है। इसी तरह आप, इसी तरीके से आप रियलाइज कर सकते हो कि आप क्या कर रहे हो यहाँ पे और क्या सही कर रहे हो। लाइफ तो भागे जा रही है, कोई वेट थोड़ी कर रही है। ये थोड़ी है कि आप 2 महीने अपने आप को डिप्रेस रखोगे, चल ठीक है मैं ठीक हो जाऊँ, 2 महीने तो निकल के डिलीट हो गए ना आपकी फाइल से वो। ये तो जितना हो सके खुल के जीना और फ्लो में रहना, सुख दुख को अपनाना अपना, और उसको लेकर आगे चलते चले जाना। अगर दुख है तो दुखी हो लो यार, रो लो, कोई बात नहीं, रोने दिए हैं आंसू ना परमात्मा ने। हंसी है तो हंस लो, दांत दिए हैं हंसने के लिए, हंसाओ, हंसो, खूब हंसो, खूब खुश रहो। उड़ने के लिए, भागने के लिए पैर दिए हैं, हवा में उड़ने के लिए हाथ दिए हैं, तो सब सब यूज करो यार, खुल के जियो। बिकॉज दिस कैन एंड एनी टाइम, इट्स नॉट लाइक अ टूथपेस्ट जिसमें एक्सपायरी डेट लिखी होती है कि 5 अगस्त 2026 और वट एवर, इट कैन एंड इन 2025। सो ये बहुत बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है ये सना, लोगों को, बिकॉज हम सब ना वेलनेस को भी वैसे ट्रीट कर रहे हैं आजकल, जैसे कोई
Yeah.
लग्जरी कॉफी होती है ना, जैसे जैसे कोई
Oh.
नाइस डिनर होता है। और लाइफ की मैं हम समझ ही नहीं पा रहे हैं करना क्या है। हम तो उस एक अभी भी उस डोपिंग में है, उस ड्रग में है। अब ये जो लोग जाते हैं मेडिटेशन रिट्रीट्स में, टू बी ऑनेस्ट सना, इन लोगों को अब हल्का सा छेड़ के देखो, बम की तरह फटते हैं। यू डिस्टर्ब मी एट मेडिटेशन टाइम, यू डिस्टर्ब दिस, यू डू दैट, क्या यार, क्या जरूरत है रिट्रीट्स में जाने की, ये सब करने की। और
नहीं, it
वो
kind of become rhetoric, मतलब the
हाँ
purpose of which जो तुम कर रहे हो, तुम उसी पर्पस को hit कर रहे हो, then why are you
या
doing it?
या
You are
सो
meditating, or
हाँ,
you are embracing, or you are practicing wellness because you want to make yourself better and make your life better, and in that life you have your loved ones as well. But then if you completely cut out yourself, that is also selfishness. So then it's kind
चलो
of
वो पहले, पता क्या सेल्फिशनेस, तो वो इस सबसे नीचे दर्जे की सेल्फिशनेस है। बिकॉज पहली बात तो आपको यही नहीं पता आप करना क्या चाहते हो। दूसरा, आपने देखा आपके 20 दोस्त जा रहे हैं मेडिटेशन कैंप में या रिट्रीट में जा रहे हैं या फलाना है जो भी कर रहे हैं, ऑर्गेनिक कपड़े पहन रहे हैं, इंसेंस खा रहे हैं, वीगन खा रहे हैं, आपने भी वही भेड़ चाल शुरू कर दी। आपको तो ये पता ही नहीं आपको चाहिए क्या, राइट? And so and then what happens is, you suddenly after a few days you come back home, you realize that कि यार सडनली कोई चैलेंजिंग सिचुएशन आया, सडनली कोई अंगार आया और आप बम की तरह फट गए।
mm,
तो वो सो कॉल्ड ट्रेनिंग, सो कॉल्ड वेलनेस तो हवा में उड़ गई ना यार। तो हर एक का एक बात जाननी बहुत जरूरी है, हमें ऐसे लोग चाहिए। और मैं मुझे समझता है मेरे अंदर वो एक है, एक वो आ गई ये चीज मेरे अंदर। हमें ऐसे लोग चाहिए जो हर इंडिविजुअल को उसका रास्ता दिखाएं। हमें भेड़ चाल नहीं चाहिए, हमें भेड़े नहीं चाहिए, हमें इंडिविजुअल्स चाहिए। और हमें ऐसे लोग चाहिए जो एक इंडिविजुअल को इंडिविजुअल की तरह गाइड करें, उसको नॉट जस्ट ज्ञान बांटे, अच्छी बातें करो, लेकिन उसको कैसे करना है, अप्लाई करना है, कैसे उसको करना है अपनी जिंदगी, वो तो बताओ भाई। कहते हैं काइंडनेस इज अ वर्च्यू, बट कैसे करो काइंडनेस भाई? हर सिचुएशन में काइंडनेस कैसे दिखा दूं, है ना? अब पॉजिटिव रहो, पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग करो। क्या पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग करूं भाई? पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग होती क्या है मेरी लाइफ में? तू मेरी लाइफ को समझ तो ले भाई। पॉजिटिव थिंक मेरी लाइफ में चल के आ रहा था भाई, तो तू पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग बताएगा मेरे को? और ये सब जो, टू बी ऑनेस्ट मैं एक बात बोलूं सना, विदाउट साउंडिंग सिनिकल और क्रिटिकल एंड विदाउट नेमिंग ऑब्वियसली एनीवन,
mhm,
on a personal call, I will name it to you also. But there are so many innumerable babas, gurus who are seasonal these days. हर एक का सीजन आता है एक। वो कुछ टाइम पे पॉपुलर हो जाता है, आम की तरह या मौसम की तरह, 6 महीने खूब पैसा कमाता है, बड़ी बड़ी गाड़ियों में घूमता है, उसके वीआईपी क्लाइंट्स होते हैं, टॉक शोज पे आता है। और वहाँ पे जो गरीब लोग होते हैं बेचारे लाइन में पीछे गिरे पड़े रहते हैं, और वीवीआईपी आगे चले जाते हैं, उनके वीडियोस बन जाते हैं, वो यूट्यूब पे साथ के साथ अपलोड हो जाते हैं, पूरा सोशल मीडिया इंजन चल रहा है, राइट?
that
सो
that is
इनसे
the
आप क्या
most
सीखोगे यार? इनसे आप क्या सीखोगे?
और पैसा
सीख
कमाना तो सबसे इजीएस्ट काम है विद द मैक्सिमम आरओआई।
पता है क्यों? ये आज का नहीं है, ये शुरू से ही सना, जब से ह्यूमैनिटी है ना, जो लोगों को सबसे ज्यादा किसने खत्म किया है इमोशनली, मेंटली एंड फिजिकली, इस भगवान के नाम पे या रिलीजन के नाम पे, जो इस पूरे दुनिया का जो सबसे ज्यादा सर्वनाश उसी कारण हुआ है, हर लेवल पर, मेंटल, इमोशनल, फिजिकल। ये जो अदरवाइज किस बर्ड की, किस पेड़ की, किसकी कंट्री होती है, किसका नाम होता है, किसकी ये होती है, सब आजाद है। कहते हैं ना वो सरहदें होती नहीं है आकाश में तो यार, तो जमीन पे सरहदें होती हैं। तो मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ, कुछ नहीं रखा इन चीजों में। अगर जो आपको आपको जिंदगी में आपको ऐसे लोग मिलते रहेंगे जो नॉन डिस्क्रिप्ट है, जो शायद एक झोपड़ी में रहते हैं, जो शायद वॉन्डरर हैं, अब उनसे बात करोगे आपको इतने सारे सिग्नल्स मिलेंगे। बिकॉज जागना तो आपको है ना इंटरनली, जागना तो जगाना तो आपने अपने आप को है, तो वो आपको कैटलिस्ट की तरह मिल जाएंगे। लेकिन आप उनको गुरु बना दो, बाबा बना दो, मैं इस चीज को नहीं मानता। मैं इस चीज को नहीं मानता। गुरु बिना ज्ञान नहीं, ऐसे बोलते हैं, मैं इस चीज को बिल्कुल भी नहीं मानता। इंस्टिगेटर होते हैं लोग, कैटलिस्ट होते हैं, आपको एक्टिवेट कर देते हैं, लेकिन जर्नी आपकी है, बिकॉज आपके अंदर भी वही है जो उसके अंदर है। इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि उसको गिफ्ट ऑफ गैब मिला हुआ है, उसको एक बोलने का तरीका मिला हुआ है तो वो एक स्पेशल है। आपसे आप भी उतना ही स्पेशल, इतना वो स्पेशल है। तो क्यों लाइन में लग रहे हो यार? क्यों टाइम वेस्ट कर रहे हो? rather than do something which you love doing instead of going to his hermitage or ashram, whatever you call it, you go to पहाड़ों में, समुद्र के किनारे निकल जाओ। या ठंडी हवा जहाँ आती हो, जहाँ खाना अच्छा मिलता हो, जहाँ खुशी मिलती हो आपको, क्यों लाइनें परेशान होना 2 मिनट के दर्शन के लिए? और क्या हो जाएगा? और कुछ होता भी नहीं है ऐसा ना। ये जो उसमें हजारों लोग जाते हैं, उसमें 3-4 की स्टोरीज कोई फिट तुक्का बैठ जाता है, वो स्टोरीज इतनी हाईलाइट हो जाती है ना। तो ऐसे हमारे बहुत एग्जाम्पल्स हैं। हैरानी की है, रिसेंट रिसेंट लाइफ में ऐसे एग्जाम्पल हैं। तो मैं तो एक ही बात बोलूंगा सना, यहाँ अगर जो किसी को जरूरत है, हमारे जैसे लोगों को जरूरत है, जो कोई उनको जगा सके नींद से, बस कोई जगा सके, उनको एक्टिवेट कर सके, ना कोई मंत्र दे, ना कोई कपड़े दे, ना कोई माला दे जपने के लिए, बस उनको जगा दे कि भैया तू अपनी जर्नी कर ले, अपनी जर्नी पे चल पड़, अपना रास्ता तुझे समझ में आ गया तो उस पर चलना शुरू कर दे। जब तक तू चाहेगा मैं तेरे साथ हूँ, लेकिन चलना चलना तुझे अकेला ही है। एंड
करेक्ट।
तो
हिंदी में
ये
दर्शक बोलते हैं, मार्गदर्शक। लाइक
मार्गदर्शक, हाँ, एक मैं ये बोलता हूँ, मार्गदर्शक भी बहुत एक आई थिंक हैवीली लोडेड इगोइस्टिक वर्ड है। मैं ये बोलूंगा कि एक कैटलिस्ट, एक एक्टिवेशन बहुत करेगा ना, जैसे जो वो मैं हूँ आई गेस। अगर आई बिलीव मैं उस स्टेज पे पहुंच चुका हूँ कि मैं मेरे सामने 1000 लोगों को बिठा दूँ तो मैं उनको परेशान करके भेज दूंगा। वो सो बाल खुजाते हुए जाएंगे, यार किसके पास आ गया यार, इसने तो हिला के रख दिया अंदर से। तो मैं उस स्टेज पे पहुंचा, मैं वही करने वाला हूँ, मैं वही करूंगा चाहे किससे भी बात करूं। मैं कोई अच्छी मीठी मीठी बातें नहीं करने वाला हूँ, मैं सच्चाई बोलने वाला हूँ जो उनको फेस करनी ही पड़ेगी। तो सना, मेरा तो यही कहना है। एंड बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है आपसे बात करके। एंड मैं आपसे आगे चाहूंगा इस चीज के साथ। कहने को तो बहुत कुछ है, पर किससे कहें हम, है ना। लेकिन वही बात है कि समय की हमें एक सीमा है। और मैं मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा जैसे आप कहेंगे दोबारा, इफ दिस गोज वेल विद यू एंड योर ऑडियंस, आई विल डेफिनेटली बी अवेलेबल टू स्पीक मोर।
absolutely. But also, Amitabh, if our listeners they would like to connect with you, check out more about Chamber of Giggles and Grace. What would be the best way?
बेस्ट वे वुड बी टू कनेक्ट मी आइदर ऑन इंस्टाग्राम और लिंक्डइन, और नहीं तो आपके पास मेरा बायो है, मेरा ईमेल एड्रेस है उसमें, मेरा फोन नंबर, व्हाट्सएप नंबर है, दे कैन रीच आउट टू मी। एंड बिकॉज इससे बड़ी मतलब कोई खुशी नहीं है आज की डेट में, कोई इंसान इतना भी कह दे कि जॉली मुझे तेरे मैसेज से सुन के ही मेरे अंदर से कुछ डिसरप्शन हो गया शुरू। तो आई एम ऑलवेज, दिस इज माई प्रायोरिटी ऑफ माई लाइफ अपार्ट फ्रॉम माई सन। सो दिस इज व्हाट आई वांट टू डू। मेरा एक पर्पस है, मैं किसी से डिस्कस कर रहा था, एक मेरा एक और पॉडकास्ट लाइन अप ऐसा ना, तो मैंने यही बोला था उनसे, मेरा एक एक बहुत ही रियलिस्टिक सा गोल है कि अगर जो मैं एज्यूम करूँ मेरी लाइफ 20 साल और है, तो
Mm-hmm.
एक नॉर्मल एक्सपेक्टेंसी के बेसिस पे, तो मैं कम से कम 100 लोगों के जीवन में उस तरह का एक्टिवेशन लाना चाहता हूँ कि वो एक बहुत खुल के सच्चा जीवन जी सके, और ये ना कहें वो मुझे मुड़ के कि जॉली यार असलियत में कुछ और है, बोलता कुछ और है। बिकॉज जो आजकल के कोचीज हैं, आजकल के बाबा गुरु हैं, वो असलियत में कुछ और होते हैं। और जब वो अकेले होते हैं तो कुछ और ही होते हैं। ठीक है।
Correct.
तो बस यही चाहता हूँ, मेरा यही एक ऑब्जेक्टिव है, अचीव हो गया तो आई थिंक आई विल गो पीसफुली, आई विल स्टिल गो पीसफुली, बट देन आई विल गो मोर पीसफुली। ठीक है। तो ये
Right.
बस कहना चाहूँ।
Wonderful, wonderful. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Amitabh, and thank you to all the listeners for tuning in. This has been BizBlend, and this is your host Sana, and urging all of you to take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Thank you.
Thank you.